特殊的形式
In the city of Shanghai,
有政策呢，它也是有阶段性。
那现在我们的孩子去了美国。
My friends met in Shanghai, married in Shanghai.
Because what is in the need of Israel is in the capability of China, and what is the need.
I'll just ask the first question. Can you share with us what's your deepest memory in Shanghai? Where are you in Shanghai?
Your
deepest memory.
Deepest memory, the friendliness of the Chinese people. I worked together too. I did serve an apprenticeship as a mechanic, and I was working with Chinese workmen, and we were great friends. And as I said in my speech, there was no anti-Semitism, and it was a very harmonious relationship. It was wonderful. It saved our lives.
What kind of work did you do in Shanghai?
Well, I went to school. I was between 11 and 19 years old. I first of all went to school, and then I went into a technical school, art school, as I mentioned, and then I served an apprenticeship in a small workshop, which was owned by a Jewish refugee and employed a Chinese foreman and 3 other Chinese engineers.
Did you make any friends in Shanghai when you were there? And do you still have contact with them?
Well, yes. Unfortunately, a lot of people have died. I'm 87, and whilst there were some people that were born in Shanghai, they're much younger, and you've got them in the exhibition too. They're in their 70s. But the older ones have died out, unfortunately. Sure, we had some good friends, and they're lifelong friends. And we had a number of Shanghai Jewish refugee reunions. 2 in Shanghai, in Philadelphia, in New York, San Francisco. So people have come together and kept in touch with each other. And there's still a bulletin being published in Israel, Yigut Yotzei Sin, which is a bulletin published half-yearly of Chinese people that were born or lived in China, mostly Russians and others. And that magazine is still being published and distributed worldwide to the survivors of the Shanghai Lenders or China hens, whatever you might want to call them.
When was your last time you visited Shanghai?
Last time was in 2006. And you will see that in Arc Shanghai, I was interviewed with my sister. We went with my sister, my wife, 2 of our daughters to Shanghai, to that reunion. And we were interviewed by a Shanghai television station. And some of these clips are shown in Arc Shanghai, the film that will be shown here on the 13th of July.
Shanghai changed a lot, right?
Eh?
Shanghai have changed a lot.
Oh, tremendous. The first time I went back to Shanghai was in 1974. That was very early. I got special permission. At the time I was an Australian government official, and we went to Beijing for a trade exhibition. We took some 300 Australian businessmen to Beijing, and I got special permission to go for 1 weekend from Beijing to Shanghai. And that was wonderful, to go back and see everything and how things have changed. the conditions, you wouldn't know, the conditions in my time for the Chinese people were terrible. The way the Japanese treated the Chinese, the way the Chinese suffered, people were dying on the street every night. There were corpses on the streets. In the morning, they were collected and taken away. The hardships that the poor Chinese people had to suffer was terrible. And that, a lot of it had changed in 1974. That was some 17 years later that I returned, and things had improved tremendously. People were dressed better, they were reasonably well fed. There wasn't this extreme poverty. So a lot of change. And then later on, of course, the changes to Shanghai itself, the buildings and everything, just, it makes your mind boggle at what the Chinese have done since I left there in 1947.
Okay, this year marks the 70th anniversary of the end of the World War II and the anti-fascist war. So, as a survivor, what would you like to tell the Chinese people, the Jewish people, or maybe the Japanese about the war, about your suffering, about what you've seen, experienced?
Well, the last thing, the Japanese, I think they should admit the atrocities that had been committed in China. That's the first thing. 70 years, I just can't believe that so much time has passed. As I said, I and my family are most grateful for having been able to find a haven, refuge in China during the war, which saved our lives. And the changes that have been made in China are just mind-boggling, absolutely mind-boggling. Whilst it's now 9 years since I've last been there, I've been following documentaries on China, and it's just unbelievable. They are very diligent and intelligent people, and I must say there's a lot of commonality between the Chinese and Jews. We both have got ancient civilizations. We are both very family-minded. Family is everything. We are very education conscious. What you get in your mind, you can't take away. So you've got to try and educate yourself. That is very important. So there's a lot in common that we share with the Chinese people. And I love them.